Let's start with the basic vocabulary of algebra. We're going to be talking a lot about these four things in the introduction to algebra: functions, variables, equations, and terms. And being able to understand what they are will help you now to learn algebra, and will help you later on when you come to do more advanced mathematics, trickier mathematics like calculus and statistics. So what is a function? Well, a function, really think of it as a procedure, something that takes a variable and spits out something else. It does something to it and spits out an output. So if we imagine that this is our function box here, we take a variable, we put it in that end, let's say it's x, it goes down the pipe, does all sorts of things, and then out pops an output, sometimes called y. That's all a function is. Taking one number, bibbity bobbity boo, out pops something else. And it does the same thing every time. So a simple function would be add 2. Okay, so say we have our function, we put a number in, say 3, our function is add 2, and out comes 5. That's it. Understanding functions is a really, really core part of understanding algebra. It's also really, really important to understanding calculus later on. Variables. So variables, think of variables as something which isn't fixed yet. And something that can take any number that we put in. So let's say we have a function, and the function is times 2. Well, the variable would just be a placeholder, sometimes called x, and we choose x because it's just the least used letter in the alphabet. That could be some number. So if we put x in, we times it by 2, we're going to get out 2 times x. It's a wonky x, but it's still an x. Okay, if we said let x be 7, then wherever we see the x, we're going to just paste in 7 in this case. So now it's going to be 7, it's going to go in there, and out is going to come 14. So something that isn't fixed, it's like a placeholder for some other number. If you imagine if we have okay, and I said what number would need to go in that box to make this true? Well, obviously the answer there is going to be 2. So this would be our variable. If we changed this, if we change that to 5, this variable would not be true, and it would need to be 3 in that case. So think of it as just something that's there. We don't know what it is, but we want to sort of work out how we would get it. Next one is equations. Now, I hope you know what an equation is, but I just want to sort of look at it sort of the way that we're going to look at it with algebra. The equation has the equal sign. What it means is that everything on this left hand side here, and we're going to start calling this the left hand side and the right hand side. What does that mean? Well, it means that everything on the left hand side has the same numerical value as everything on the right hand side. one is not greater than the other or less than the other. They're equal. And that's going to help us quite a lot. One of the first steps in algebra is to sort of take note, where is the equal sign? Because then it gives us some information about what we're presented. Algebra is an Arabic term, and it comes from the word for scales, or the balance. And if we imagine one of those old timey scales that you might imagine that you can get, we want this to be balanced. We want the equal sign there to be balanced. So if there is 5 kilograms on this side, in order for it to be balanced, there must be 5 kilograms on this side, presuming that they're the same distance away from the fulcrum. That's really what algebra is. So an equation is central to understanding algebra. It's central to understanding so much of maths and science. Science is written in equations. All great scientific theories, well, I guess most of them, come back to a good equation. We equals mc squared. It's an equation. F equals ma. Those of you who do physics should recognize that equation. Okay. The next thing that I want to sort of look at is the notion of a term. So think of a term as a part or a chunk of an equation or an expression. Okay, so if we have, say, 3x plus 4 equals 6w plus f. How many terms does this have? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm kind of adding the plus in there, and the reason I'm doing that is that it just shows that it's a positive in this case. You could argue that shouldn't really be in there. But these are the terms. So these things are separate entities that make up the equation. Okay. Later on in the next video, we're going to be doing like terms. So let's break down a term. Let's say we have the term 5x squared. So this is just pure vocabulary. So that would be the variable. So that's a placeholder of something that we don't know the value of yet. This number out the front is the coefficient. And although it's not shown, 5x squared really means 5 times x squared. The fact that there isn't a times in there is just the shorthand way of writing it. It just makes a lot of sense, saves a lot of ink. The little number at the top, I'm going to call the exponent. Sometimes called the power, the superscript. I'm going to call it the exponent as much as I can, but I may call it other things from time to time. And that's the basic vocabulary of algebra.